In the last 6 months of the business, we've seen massive change in our technology, our business model, and our people. If I look back to the very beginning of our journey at OOOOO, when we started in 2020, in early of that year, we really knew very little what it took to build a live commerce technology platform and a studio operation. We knew that the size of the prize in China was very big. I think this year alone, $400 billion in GMV through social commerce platforms. We first launched our platform after 10 months of writing code, and we launched it in the UK in iOS and Android. We did this in the category of beauty, and we worked with a bunch of creators to make live shows on our platform and also short videos. We were very fortunate to reach the #1 place in the UK e-commerce app stores, so we could see that people were very interested in this new way of shopping. Over a period of 2 years, we ran the OOOOO technology in the UK, and it was only by being in so many live shows that we learned all of the new features that we had to build. So we produced something over 500 live shows in the UK, and through that time we added feature after feature. We would see creators trying to engage with their audience using certain techniques, and we embedded these as features into our technology, whether that be coupons for discounts or gamification or voting in real time. We then built commission systems to allow our creators to be paid quickly if they promoted products successfully. So during a 2-year time, we've seen massive enhancement to our platform that would have been impossible to foresee had we not been in such high volume of live show creation. During that 2-year window of development and launching in the UK, we have been approached as a company by companies far and wide who are in the commerce industry and are looking for a video commerce application. This started in Brazil with a partner called B2W, who wanted to launch a live video commerce app. And then we saw demand from Italy through QVC, who again wanted to launch a new surface to their established consumer base. And more recently, we've seen demand from the Middle East, where we have a partner now called Mojo. In all of these cases, we've had to adapt our technology to a new language, to a new payment gateway, and to new currencies. So we started to see early in 2022 that selling our technology on a B2B basis, on a license basis, was actually a great business model. It was a great business model because we were not involved in finding the host, running the studio, running the live show itself, handling customer service and returns. Our role was actually much lighter. It was the provision of the tech, and it was the experience and expertise of the live show, which we could pass on to them for them to run ongoing. So I made a decision in early 2022 that we would take down the OOOOO App from the stores in the UK. It had been a critical experience for us and many lessons learned in terms of how to build live shows. But once we had the tech built, we felt that it was a much better business for us to sell that at scale. As we decided to pull away from running our own app, OOOOO, and we chose to focus on servicing partners like the folks we have in Italy, in Brazil, and the Middle East, we received some very significant feedback from one of our partners in the UK. This was a retailer, a very dominant retailer in the UK market, who were very interested in video commerce and social commerce, but they had a major concern. They did not want to continue pushing their customers to transact on TikTok and Instagram and platforms like OOOOO. They wanted as much as possible to push their customers to transact on their website. The benefit of pushing people to your website is you retain the insight and the customer information. You also take the transaction rather than a third party taking the transaction and taking a cut. So this partner started to ask us, could we build a creator app, iOS and Android, that allowed us to crowdsource content from people in their ecosystem, but could the buy button with the product in the live video link to their site? And we thought this was super interesting because I think there is a trend in the retail industry globally where the retail empire is looking to strike back, where they're a little bit sick of paying huge acquisition costs and affiliate fees to third parties, and their margins are being crunched. And more companies are trying to be direct to consumer, where they can take back that control of insight and data. So because of this conversation and because of the macro trend, we started in early 2022 to build a lighter version of the OOOOO technology. And this allowed people to create content very easily, but ultimately link that content to their own site. And I think this lighter version of our technology is very, very scalable, but I also think it can be used for small companies too, who've maybe only got a small product portfolio on a website. So we've seen during this year 2 different products emerge. One of them is our heavier tech, which is the original OOOOO App, which is an iOS and Android app, and all the transactions happen on that platform through a merchant center and creator center that's sat behind it. And I think that suits companies with large existing audiences that are looking to provide a new surface that ultimately converts better than the previous one. And I think our partner in Brazil and Italy and the Middle East, they suit that type of platform. And we think there's a big pool of clients that could use that software globally. But I also think the second version of our software, which is web-based commerce, has huge application. And we've already signed our first client with that lighter software. And the name of that client is Schiller. Schiller is a US company focused on video content of NFTs. So rather than selling lipstick or sneakers or clothing, instead Schiller is a platform where the products are NFTs or tokens. So we're building a platform which allows approved creators to go live from a studio or from their mobile phone and to tag NFTs from marketplaces. So when anybody consumes this content through the web, if they press on the product, the NFT, they will be taken directly to OpenSea or Rarible or other marketplaces where they can then buy that NFT through a wallet. So this is in some ways very similar to how OOOOO started, in so much as it's a platform for multiple creators to share content and promote products. But it's quite a pivot in so much as there's no physical item, and also we're pushing people to third-party websites. So this development is underway. We're already testing the technology, and it will launch in the fourth quarter of 2022. And we think this is super important because the same technology can be applied for many, many more verticals, where we're essentially pushing people to the websites of other platforms. And whilst the first 2.5 years of our company was very focused on building something from scratch, we're now entering a new season where we need to commercialize. A little earlier this year, we began to look for somebody who could lead our commercial strategy globally. And it was important this person was a veteran in the retail industry with a very rich network and experience working globally. And I'm delighted that Steven Hubbard has joined us as Chief Commercial Officer for the group. Steve has worked all over the world, in the US, in the Middle East, in Asia, and of course in Europe. And we're delighted that he's joined us to drive our commercial strategy based here in the UK.
Hi, my name's Steven Hubbard and I'm the new Chief Commercial Officer for OOOOO Group. Having spent 30 years in retail, it's always been for me about the customer journey and customer experience. And I think what OOOOO has built, and Sam and the team over the last 2 to 3 years, it's extremely market leading and very innovative and pioneering even. Within my 30 years, I've been fortunate to work around the world, working with some very pioneering retail groups, having spent a number of years in the UK working with the likes of Marks and Spencer, Next and Arcadia and Debenhams, and then going to do a startup in the early 2000s, which was really the first step into live commerce and social commerce forums, working with a business called Sit Up TV. It was extremely successful, and as a main competitor of QVC within the UK market, it grew from 0 to almost 300 million in the 2.5 to 3 years prior to us actually selling the business to a large media group. In 2005, I decided then to work in the Middle East. I went on to be the general manager of Landmark Group for about 4.5 years, living in Dubai, running a very sizable business at that time. And from then on, I went to live in Australia and work for a company called BBRC, running a business called Diva, both in Australia and also in Southeast Asia. From there on, in 2012, having sold my entity of that business, I went on to work in Hong Kong. I worked with a gentleman called Timothy Alton at Halo Group as a chief commercial officer running their business internationally, whereby we opened a number of galleries and multi-channel formats around the world, both in South America, Latin America, North America, but also within Central Europe, Southeast Asia. So very much across the world from an expansion point of view. For me, it's always been about what is next for the customer. How can we enhance that customer experience and that customer journey? Having come back to the UK in 2018 as the managing director of Ideal World, it's very much about how do I create something different within the home shopping network? How do I drive the live commerce and social commerce platforms to, again, create that additional customer, not the traditional demographic, but also a younger demographic? So over the last 4.5 years of running Ideal World, it's very much about, for me, generating live commerce, but also formatting it in a way that creates that excitement and that conversion, importantly enough. And I'm really excited to go on the journey ahead together as a team and really grow this from a global perspective.